What's up? Man, I am on a business trip. And yeah, it's one of those days where all is well. Not because all is on paper exactly the way it's supposed to be, but because all is well up here. When was the last time life was looking crazy with the ojos, but tu corazón was like, yeah, baby, it's all good. Bring it on. That's what it's been like lately. It's been one of those things where I'm in this rhythm, this beautiful rhythm of living, and then a hiccup happens, a burp, a fart, something extremely uncomfortable. And then you're trying to figure out, what do you do now? You fan it away. You fan it away. Now, I know that sounds crazy. That's a horrible analogy, and I don't care. I wanted to share it with you anyway. It just came up in my head. But that's what it's like. When I was growing up, I was really into the Bible. And one of the things that I remember hearing was this phrase, casting down vain imaginations. Now, that might not mean a lot to you, but to me it was negative thoughts, right? Like bad thoughts. What I did not realize is that the bad thoughts were never my thoughts, which is why it said casting down vain imaginations, right? This still applies today, like significantly. One of the things that I've learned in the last, 15 years, is that there's this thing called the ether. It's the space. It's all the actual tangible space that we can stick our hand in that we think doesn't exist. We call it air. But in that is the ether. And the ether contains all these thoughts, all this energetic being. And then there are negative thoughts, there are positive thoughts. And we have the choice when they come to us, different thoughts, they're not necessarily our thoughts. Situation happens, it thinks, ooh, that's somewhere I can latch on. And it travels, so to speak, to and through your mind. That's the vain imagination. If you don't cast it down, or if you don't say, thank you, no thank you, keep it moving, or just let it bypass and focus back on what you are focused on, what you are cultivating, what your incantations are, what your truths are, your I am statements, whatever that is that keeps you focused and in alignment with the truth, then what happens is if you don't cast it down, or if you don't keep it moving, or if you don't change direction on where you focus your attention, this is so good. This is so good. Whew. If you don't keep your attention focused on the thing you do want, then everything that doesn't look like it, or everything that looks like a sabotage to it, you'll start to distract. They will just start to distract you. And when that starts to distract you, it'll take you off course for the thing that's bringing you the thing you've been desiring the entire time. You'll start to speak negative. You'll start to nag. You'll start to squint your eyes and see what ain't right. Ooh, that's what's wrong. Ooh, that's what's wrong. Ooh, that's what's wrong. And when we start going down that journey, we forget. We forget and we abandon the truth because the little thought came through and it's like, oh, you know what? That isn't right. I need to say something about that. Ooh, I need to nip that in the bud. Ooh, that gets under my skin because it robs our focus. And now all of a sudden that little thought plants like a seed in your mind. And it starts to grow and grow. And before you know it, you're feeling the truth has been squashed inside of you. And the thing that's true is where you've given your attention. The attention to the thought that was never yours in the first place. That wasn't the truth. It was just an observation that you didn't even observe until it came into your mind. And then you observed it like that might be true. I don't know. You know what? I think that, you know what? That, and you kept giving it attention and all of a sudden it magnified inside you. Listen, there's this thing that actors do. We call it the moment before. I teach this when I'm training CEOs and supervisors and junior execs, whoever, doesn't matter. And what I'm trying to do is help them get into a state, an emotional state that causes life to flow through them that's authentic, where the energy is pure. In this scenario, what we're looking at is you've paid attention to a thought that wasn't your original thought, but because it came to your mind, you paid attention to it. Here's what you did. In the acting world, when it's time for an actor to cry, let's take for example, right? We know that the scene is fake. You do know that, right? Because Crazy Rich Asians gets me all the time. I absolutely love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. But it's fake. They practice the scene over and over and over again. So how in the world do they create those moments of tears, of sadness that we feel is authentic? Because we've all seen the fake cries, and we hate those movies. There's this thing called the moment before I was just mentioning. What they do is they go off camera. See, that's on camera. They're over here. They're over here. Stay with me. They get present. Stay with me over here. They get present to a moment in their life, if it's a crying scene, that either made them really sad in real life. They have to get present to a real experience that they've had. They get really present to it, even though it's in the past. They see it, hold on, in color, as if it's real. Then they see the people. They see their skin, their eyes, they remember their faces. And while they're there, then they decide to turn up the sound and remember the voices, and they hear it in Dolby stereo. They get really present, and it only takes 30 seconds. Abraham Hicks says 17 seconds. But the actor takes anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds to get present to that moment. Then, when they're present, they feel the authentic energy of that. Then they get on camera. And when they're on camera, when it's time for that character to cry, waterworks flow. Because they've taken the time to create a thought, take a thought, meditate on it for longer than 30 seconds, and all of a sudden they're feeling it like reality. How many of your dreams have been hijacked by a thought that was never yours in the first place, that you decided to latch on to because you didn't choose to stay focused about the thing that you know was true, and instead you got pulled off course? So I know it's happened to me too. Our thoughts get hijacked because we're not casting down vain imaginations. Instead, we're squinting, trying to find everything wrong. Like, oh, this can't be it, because if this was it, it would be that. Oh, your boy gets guilty. And what I've had to learn is don't squint. Open your eyes and see before you get destroyed by the lie. And I've had to learn to train myself to open my eyes, because when we squint, we can only see so little. It's like this, right? It begins to get like this. But when we open our eyes, we can see everything that's really going on and not get distracted, not get thrown off course, and we'll start to find gratitude. We'll start to find all of the reasons why things will work. The scriptures say you must have faith like a child. That's so good too. Because if you don't believe like a child, where they just willingly get after it, it didn't happen. Oh, I'm so sad, I'm angry. Wait a minute, but it can still happen. Yes, I can. If you can't have faith like a child, then you don't have faith at all. And then that begins to impact and rob you of the dreams. And then after a while, we just take whatever we can get. All of us deal with that. All of us deal with that. So I want to encourage you to stop giving so much energy to the things around you that you know are not true. And stop grabbing a hold of every little thought that goes through your head, or the voices of other people telling you what they think about your situation. They don't know you. They don't know the dream inside of you. They don't know the truth that's been put inside of you. That's why it's so important to be quiet. You can't tell everybody everything, because they don't want you to have it, because they didn't have it. And they're afraid that if you get it, then it means something about them. And too many of us have surrendered our truth, our vision, our focus, so that other people feel comfortable. Listen, man, you were called for greatness, but the only way you're going to get there is you're going to have to open your eyes and see. Most people, 95% of people, can't see past the front of their nose. How do I know? Stats prove it. Most of us are doing the same thing. How many of you are still in pursuit of your dreams? Get back to it. This is Marquise. Peace.